Welcome. You are here for day 3 of Explorations in Website Building. With us again as a presenter, we have Kathy Hare, and she has done an excellent job so far of showing us Wix.com. She did that on day 1, which was Monday. Yesterday we looked at Weebly, and today we're going to start off with GoDaddy Website Builder. And after she shows you that, I'm going to take you through a few other sites, and we'll kind of tag team it. And then toward the end of the week, either beginning tomorrow or Friday, depending on when we wrap with all these other miscellaneous suggestions, we'll go into WordPress. That one probably is a little more complicated than some that we've been looking at, and frankly, my long-standing love affair with it is kind of waning after seeing all these really slick solutions that Kathy has shared. So without further ado, let me turn it over to Kathy Hare.
Hello, good morning. So good to be here again. Feels like family already. Thank you, Kathy. And, I agree with what you were saying about, WordPress starting to lose a little bit of its shine. I don't know that it's lost all of it because it has a lot of power on the web, but Wix and Weebly and GoDaddy too, they've come up a lot in the last few years. I mean, they've really started to add all the bells and whistles, and I think that's where we're seeing the changes. You do get free, website building. This one here that I'm going to show you is GoDaddy. Now that is one of the main, if not the main place that usually people will purchase their domain names through. And it's been that way for many, many years, probably more than 15 that I know of alone. But they recently started a website builder within the last few years. And I just recently tried it this is another client of mine, again with service to the community. This is about the Long Red Line, which is a national organization that has been growing against domestic violence and hurtful crimes that we don't need to get into, but at this point right now. But they wanted to use their GoDaddy website. They wanted to try the website builder, and so I did that for them. Now I had some good luck with it. I mean, we've got our same basics here. They're all individual, and we're able to put them together. There's a few bells and whistles that don't really show up. This is all of our photographs, obviously. This is the long red line of the scarf that all of these women knitted and wrapped entirely around the library, just so you know what you're looking at. We do have, the app that I was talking about for Facebook, and it shows your amount of likes and all of that type of thing here. So that's really a nice app to have in here. And then we have, a lot of tools are a little bit easier to create these logos. And I bring the logos in, but in order to size them, it doesn't really have, all the lineups that I really would have liked. That makes it a little bit easier. And I guess I am a little picky, at this point. And I'm sure, I actually called GoDaddy and I asked them, hey, how come you're not doing this like Wix or Weebly? And they said they're working on it. So they already know. So eventually, probably within the year or so, they will. Excuse me. I have started to get a little bit of a throat cold, so I'm holding the microphone away from my mouth as much as I can so you don't hear me clearing my throat over and over. Okay. And this one we did purchase the website builder, which is, I believe it comes out to be about $3 or $4 to add on to when you actually purchase the domain name. So it works out pretty well in that case. Price-wise, it's still very good. I just don't feel that it has all the bells and whistles. So we, excuse me. So we look over here and we see, the bells and whistles that I talk about. Now this is a a lot less than what we are used to seeing. And here are the apps, and there are 5. So compared to Wix and Weebly, which have about 40 different apps that you can add. But you do have the instant menu and price list, and PayPal, like they have on the other ones, and some real estate listings. They're kind of starting with the most popular ones, but I'm sure they'll start adding more and more and more apps as you go along. And what you would do is you would just click on these, and then it would, you would set up your PayPal account, and then it would give you a widget, and you would be able to attach it here. All right, let's see what else might be a little different in here. We go up here, you have all your pages listed. This is actually one very simple way to change your home page, which, I mean, you can do that in the other builders, but not as easily. This way you can actually click on it and change that to your home page just instantly. And normally in Wix and Weebly, I would make a duplicate of that page and then rename it as, the old home, and then having the new page as home. So this is a little bit of a saver here. I really did like that, actually. We have the portfolio page, so we still have, oh, that's not the that's one of the ones that basically came in there that I never released. I'm trying to look for the gallery. There we are. So the gallery, they still have the slideshows that are available and everything that I showed you on the other ones. We can still add a movie. So yeah, it's, I would say that I still prefer Wix and Weebly, and I'm kind of tied on both of those, really, and I thought I was leaning more towards Weebly, but I may now be leaning back more towards Wix. And I think this is going to happen. It's sort of like, I was thinking about it last night, it's sort of like our cable providers. We got to go back and forth between, what they're offering now, and now they're changing their plan, and they're, we're kind of going back and forth, and they're all in competition with each other. So they're really trying to get that, that information out there as quickly as possible. But when I talk to GoDaddy, they're testing the waters first. So here you're still able to attach a document. I've got a PDF of this press release that's linked there. You're still able to add a map. I would say the biggest situation for me, and the reason why it's still my third choice, is because you don't have as many options with changing your photographs and doing a little bit more work, like in Wix. And I don't know if we got to that yet, but I think with Kathy we're going to be working with some design areas more on another webinar, possibly in the future. And in Wix and Weebly, they both have parts in there where you can actually change, like, I could change this picture to sepia, I could crop it, I could put a frame around it, I could change the shape of it, I could put a drop-down shadow, I can, increase the warmth of the picture by, adding more of the red colors. A lot of the design features that you would have normally found in a graphic design program are actually attached in the Wix and Weebly. They don't so far have that here in GoDaddy, and that's something that I really miss as an artist and a designer. But for basic aspects, I mean, it's fairly simple to use. If you've got your basic pictures you want to plug in there, you're not working with a lot of creative idea. You just want to get it real nice, simple, clean, and boom, boom. I think that's good. You can change the colors of all these. This actually, I created this one from scratch. It is not from a template. They don't have as many templates, again, as Wix and Weebly do, and I think Wix has the most templates, but they still have some really nice ones. And like I said, I think they're adding new stuff every day. So I'm going to stop there for a minute. And Kathy, are there any questions or any comments?
You know what? I think I'm answering them in chat. I'll just quickly recapitulate this. Deb Landry had asked, can you create a site on Wix and have it linked to Weebly? And I answered, you tell me if this is correct, Kathy, that there are two different platforms for creating sites, so they're going to be independent of one another, but you can always hyperlink sites using something like a blog roll feature, regardless of where each site is originally created.
Yeah. You
So,
can have various addresses all pointing to the same website, or you could have different websites all pointing to the same domain name. So yeah.
okay. Deb, you know what? Maybe I didn't post that publicly. She's saying she didn't see my response, but at least you heard it just now. But I know when I was working with Deb to set up her sites, she kind of has, she's a little bit like you, Kathy. She's very creative. She's involved in a lot of different things. So she kind of has 3 different sites, one for her public arts, one for her fine art, and then just one for her as an artist. And she was looking at kind of ways to manage all of them under one umbrella. We'd used...
Well, yeah, that's a really common thing these days, because we do, especially as artists, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs have a lot of different things that they're going for these days, and it is, to get one main one and listing everything that you're doing and having them linked out to different sites is as far as I've gotten with that idea so far. So
Right.
I'd love to see your site, Deb, and since you're an artist. If you want to share that with me later, Kathy will give you my contact information, but I'd love to see your websites, and I'm sure Kathy did a beautiful job, but I want to see your art.
Well, actually, it's been kind of... her sites have been in labor for some time now. So we've been kind of deciding what she wanted to do, and she actually had a lot of decisions to make about how they would be interrelated. So I'll touch upon that after you're done. I don't want to interrupt your flow here, but I think some questions like that are really excellent things to start off with. We're getting into, ooh, I like this, and ooh, I like that, and so once Kathy finishes, I just want to bring it back and give people some context, about why have a site to begin with, what's your objective, and then maybe a few exploratory questions that can guide people beyond just what looks easy and, what looks pretty, to just making sure your choice will be in alignment with your objectives. So, okay, back to you, Kathy.
Okay, all right, yeah. So that is a really good point, and we didn't really touch on that at all. So I'm just showing you the features of everything, and it is very easy to do. It's cost effective. That's the one thing that is really important for people, especially starting out, but even transitioning. It is and it helps you. It helps me, I have to say, to create websites, because it helps me to focus on my own content or on a client's content, and I really can get a good grasp of what they are about and what I am about by just seeing it visually. That, for me, that's really, and I can kind of play with it and understand what's happening. So that's another reason I love creating websites, and why you might like to do that, because it helps you to focus in on your own thoughts. So let's see, anything else here. I mean, we have a YouTube button that we could add, a YouTube channel. So we have, like I said, I think basically everything. We have the Twitter and all of that. We have basically everything that we talked about in Wix and Weebly, but we just don't have. I'm going to click on the picture. We can zoom in our picture, but we can move it over. We can do different things like that. We can change the aspects, but there's not a lot to be able to really artistically work with this photo. And it's hard for me to explain what I mean by that without showing you someplace else, but it's important. I think, to the work that I do. Okay, so let me see if I got that back into spot before I do anything. Okay, I'm gonna publish it. And there's no save button, so it saves, you publish it each time, which means that you have to hold space before you publish, which can be good. Like I explained to you before, you don't want to keep saving each thing that you do if somebody else is watching your website. And then I just want to show you real quick, this is also done on GoDaddy. And this was actually created from scratch for a women's circle group that I worked with. And it's all, very, very design oriented, trying to really get a feel and a branding from it. So it's an original feel. It's not a concept from a template. So there you go. So I think, yeah, I think we're good. I mean, I really can't think of anything else. If I do, I'll add it, or we'll talk about it later. I'll just let Kathy know. But I'm pretty sure that is a pretty good description of GoDaddy from now, because you're all such experts on how to go over here and just grab what you want and add it in, and so I think that's a good comparison for today. So I'm going to turn it over to Kathy. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kathy. I mean, it sure has been nice for me to be, just kind of the one who gets to watch for a change. So that's been a lot of fun. So I really want to thank you for being here and giving of your valuable time. And just a little shout out. Why don't you say your website one more time? I've been trying to link to it and tell people on Facebook, but just in case somebody does want to work with you.
Yeah, that's great, Kat. Thank you. The best way to reach me right now would be right through the Facebook, since they're already all linked on the Facebook. So you can either go to the link that Kathy put up on her Co-Thrive. It's your member page, right? It's Earth Artistry, and or you can actually just look me up by my personal name, and then I can link you over to it. But it's Kathleen Brigidina Hare. I'm not sure where we're all talking on Facebook together anymore, but I'll find out, and we can chat some more. And I'm always there if anybody has any questions also. So I just want to let you know that. But it's Earth Artistry. Okay. Thank
Great.
you.
Well, I will answer that question, because if you don't know, then others probably don't know. I have created a group that, I don't want to sound snooty or anything, but it is going to be for members only. So members at this point are people that I'm defining as people who have either, given of their volunteer time or have supported, this project financially. We'd certainly love to have you in this group if you're not a member in one of those ways. We want it to be a very permeable, not really barrier, but just a membrane that you decide to cross over and support, this community. So we do have a closed group that has about 43 members. I'd say probably better than 80% of the people on this call are members of the group, but there are a few newcomers. So again, for people who don't know about the group yet or want to learn more about us, you can learn how to join the group by going to cothrive.org over to the Action tab, and you can look at Join or Donate. If you just want to make a one-time donation is a little hard to grant membership, just because that would require a lot of constant monitoring to find out are you a paid member or not. But paid members do get some additional benefits. I have outlined them here. I'm not going to use this as a whole sales time. But again, if my very own presenter didn't know how to communicate, then I probably need to do a better job of explaining that. You can also go to Calendar, and you can RSVP for upcoming events. So I just want to again point out a few that I added just in the last day. Some are member added, so you're welcome to add events if you are a member. And somebody added one that already has 5 RSVPs. They just put that up the other day. I am going to have an open suggestion hour. That'll be Fridays at 4 p.m. I'm going to hope to make that a standing event so that people can give me feedback. You know, these things we're doing live and kind of going at it on the fly. This is our free webinar that we're doing next week. So co-thriving through co-selling, an intro to affiliate marketing. And frankly, mainly I'm doing that because of the same reason Kathy said she likes doing websites. I am launching an affiliate program for co-thrive, and so I find that by teaching it, that's the very best way to really sharpen my focus on, you know, why am I choosing this, why am I making this decision, is if I have to explain those decisions to somebody else. So it's kind of my own, you know, observations, my own research. I'm sharing that with you, and then I also will offer you up, you know, some benefits and best practices for how you can actually, you know, set up your own affiliate program or, you know, be an affiliate marketer, which I'm imagining could be one of the reasons why some of you, you know, might be developing a website or a blog to begin with. Maybe not, but that is a possibility. If you'd like to learn about that possibility and you don't yet know about it, please RSVP. And you know, another thing that I was just reminded of, well, first let me finish this thought here. There's also an intro to co-thrive or new member welcome. So if you're not really sold by coming to the free webinars or you have some questions, this is another chance where you can just drop in. It's totally free, and you can ask me about membership, or we can, you know, talk through some Q&A. So anyway, go to cothrive.org, check out calendar to find out some about that. And the communication right now is happening mostly within the group, or you can certainly post on the Facebook page. Facebook is a little confusing right now, probably because I'm undergoing rebranding. I have been my social media coach for 6 years, and I have not switched over the name yet. I'm still working with the trademark, and I will be getting that. I actually just got an email early this morning from them. It's moving forward, and so once I can prove that I've trademarked this brand, I will, you know, go ahead and rebrand my Facebook site or Facebook page. So anyway, it is a little confusing right now because the picture says co-thrive, but to get there you type in facebook.com/mysocialmediacoach. So you can also, you know, post to the page, or you can post to events. However, I want to tie this back to our topic at hand, which is websites. I have been my social media coach. I really value social media as a way to grow, you know, grow awareness, grow my brand. But for many of you who have business pages, you know, you might know it's harder and harder and harder to reach your audience these days, because, you know, Facebook is basically looking for they're looking for ad dollars, and they don't want to, you know, give up traffic. Frankly, I had found a good post on that, and I'm afraid I might have buried it. Kathy and I did create this little Pinterest pin board, and I've been trying to kind of put together things that have to do with the topic at hand, and Kathy did quite a bit of that too. I just made this public, so if you want to go on pinterest.com/Kathy Sipple, the pin board that relates to this week is called Explorations in Website Building. So that's not necessarily a great chat feature for back and forth, but it is another way to communicate. I guess I see us as having multiple levels of communication, you know, really available, just depending on where people are. Not everybody's on Facebook, not everybody's on Pinterest, and, you know, I get that. We'll hopefully have a more robust email outreach as well pretty soon. But back to tying this together to what we're doing, you know, with the website and all these other many ways that we can connect and interact with, you know, each other. I really believe that your blog and or website, I'm kind of using that a little bit interchangeably these days, because almost all websites have blog functionality, and many blogs look a whole lot like websites. You know, WordPress doesn't really look like it's just a blog. It doesn't look like just a list of posts unless you want to make it that. But in any case, by intentionally putting your site at the middle, at the hub of everything that you do, you're really going to do yourself a better, you know, long-term deal. Because if you put it out on Facebook because it's easy, and I got to say I'm guilty of that, I'll just post an event on Facebook and start inviting friends. what you do is you lose traffic coming to your own site. So you lose the opportunity to communicate value and other things that you're doing independent of that one single event. So that's going to be my mantra for 2015, is empower people to get their own mothership, their own hub, their own blog, that is them. It's real estate you own, and it's really powerful to be in charge of that real estate. Okay, so another thing I want to say in relation to that is whoever you choose as your web host or web content provider, make sure that you review their terms of service, because sometimes free sites might have the ability to do some things that you might not be aware of. I think I shared a couple weeks ago that I had started my very first blog on WordPress, the free version of WordPress, and I used affiliate links. I didn't know that that was verboten on the free WordPress site, and they actually locked me out of my account. So I had to beg and plead to be able to export my posts, and they did temporarily unlock that account, which was nice of them. They didn't really have to, so I was able to port my past articles and get them into a paid site. But if I would have read the terms of service, I would have known that that wasn't an appropriate vehicle. So I would say, think about, number one, obviously, are you passionate enough to keep up a site? Because if you don't update some things relatively frequently, unless it's just a business card site that has contact info, hey, here's what I do, it's 2 or 3 pages, and you're not really going to sell on it, you're not looking for huge amounts of search engine optimization, you just want to be able to have a kathysipple.com, here's where I am, then it really doesn't matter as much. But if you want to blog, then you probably want to check the blog post functionality, make sure it has one also. And so blog, what I mean by that is just writing posts rather than page. Wasn't really going to go into WordPress just yet, but I suppose I could quickly. Nah, I'm not going to go there. I'll explain that when we get into it tomorrow. In any case, blogging is much, a page is kind of a standard part of your site generally, so like contact us or our services or, about us, things like that, directions, stuff that's not going to change, very frequently. You might have, events or something like that, and if you only do a few events a year, then maybe you just want to go in and update that page, that's fine. But a blog really makes it easy to just put fresh content up all the time. And so usually blog posts are 200 to 500 words. They're short little updates, and we're going to get much more into that with WordPress. Though you can blog on a number of different platforms as well, including all of the ones that Kathy has shown us. The other thing is, again, you want to think about monetization. Affiliate links are one aspect of monetization. But how easy is it to add a shopping cart? Does it offer what's called SSL features? The SSL stands for Security Sockets Layer, and basically that's just a level of encryption that allows your visitor to enter a credit card right on your site. You can pretty much embed a PayPal button just about anywhere. I know I'm kind of going all over the place here, but I just want to show you that it is more than, oh, I like that, that's a nice theme, let's go with this, okay? So I'm not expecting to cover all of these topics in as great detail as is needed, for you to make a decision, but at least to plant the seed for you to check the terms of service, ask these questions if there is a support, service available with the host or the provider that you choose. The other thing is, if you need that kind of service or support, WordPress doesn't really have somebody standing by that can talk to you. Kathy was able to call GoDaddy and talk to somebody. WordPress is what they call open source. So it's basically a lot of people contributing little bits that all work together to create, your website. But if you really wanted to talk to everybody who was, part of supporting your WordPress site, you'd probably be talking to, you could potentially be talking to 20, 30 different people. If you talk to Jim, the guy who made the plugin for your this or that, It's a little much. So if you're not a coder, sometimes I have to say I've even gotten a little, a little frustrated with the process. But let me go through a few other easy ones that I've either heard of or have seen demoed. Yola.com. This is one that Zach Stewart, Charlotte's webmaster, said that he kind of liked. I never have used it, but I did check it out just based on Zach's recommendation. It does have a free version, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it does have a free version, 3 pages, 1 gig of bandwidth. That's the other thing. You really want to check on bandwidth. If you're an artist, let's say, and you're uploading just huge images, then bandwidth is something you probably want to concern yourself about, or else learn how to really size down your images so you're not clogging it up. If you move up basic, professional, unlimited, you can see it kind of gets a little pricey there at the unlimited. For $16, $17 a month, I'm not really seeing why I would go for that versus any of the other options that we've talked about so far that I feel are kind of superior, but I haven't exhaustively looked at this. It does have a comparison tab, and not a bad idea. There are a lot of bloggers out there that have written top 10 websites for people who want to do affiliate marketing, or top 10 websites for artists, or top 10 whatever, top 5. You might want to just do your own research, okay? But I did try doing a brief example. I don't think it was really worth me showing on screen. I will say I experienced the same limitation with being able to edit images that I think Kathy was alluding to. I just couldn't crop easily on the fly. The template looked good, but when I tried to upload my own images and actually align them or do what I wanted to do, it didn't feel that intuitive anymore, and I instantly wanted to be in Weebly or Wix. So, it was okay, but I don't really see something that would make me choose it over something else. Because Google is so huge with search engine optimization, you would kind of think that Blogger, their own blogging platform, would be, the very, very best out there. And ironically, I'm not crazy about it. It's free. But beyond that, I have found all kinds of, just limitations, and especially in changing the look of the blog, taking your blog to the next level. Let's see what they've got now. You can do a custom domain. So again, that's just if you want to have your own name versus kathysipple.blogger.com, something like that. Again, I'd say for the ones that aren't my favorite, I just don't even really want to go there because I've already decided it's not something that I want to do. You can make your own, your own decision. But, Google obviously is number 1 in search engine. So for that reason, I'd say it might give you some benefits, but they don't make it as easy to improve your search as some other sites do. I think search engine optimization is a topic for a whole week that we can really get into. I am Google AdWords certified and Google Analytics certified, and there's kind of a lot of information there behind that. But being found by search engines kind of a big deal, and ironically, Google's own blog platform doesn't do it all that great. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get on their bad side. TypePad is another, pretty quick and easy, mostly blog platform. So if you're somebody who's going to be, writing posts frequently and you don't want to sell, you don't want to do this or that, I'd say this one, they're saying used by a lot of the world's best bloggers, crafts, food, style, and more. Okay, so it's not like, your e-commerce site or whatever. I mean, maybe you could do it with this, but it's not typically who they're going after. So again, it's not free, so that's one disadvantage that this has over the ones that you've already seen. It's okay. I don't see why I would go for that, especially, at an enterprise level for $50 a month versus the things that we've already talked about that, in my mind, are superior. This one, Squarespace, I did not try this yet, but I have heard about it a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and they underwrite a lot of podcasts. Let me see here. I did do a little research on it. It looked, it looked pretty clean, but I don't know that it looked cleaner than Wix or Weebly, the gorgeous things that Kathy was showing us yesterday. There seemed to be slightly fewer templates available than either Wix or Weebly. There's a free trial available, but I don't think there's any long-term supported free version. Let me just double check that, because I will say some of these got a little, yeah, okay, no credit card required. There was one little kind of fun thing with Jeff Bridges, the actor. Kathy and I kind of kiddingly thought, why don't we let Jeff Bridges do his demo? They've got a how Jeff Bridges built his own website. He did like a meditation CD. Where in the heck did that go? I might have to go back to home to get there. I watched his demo. The demo was not very robust. If you're used to watching Kathy and clicking through step by step by step, okay, it's called Dreaming with Jeff, but it's kind of cute. I mean, it does show his screen, and it shows him kind of dragging things around, but it's about, it's about like 2 minutes. So you can click here and watch Jeff build his site. They definitely seem to be appealing to, kind of an artistic crowd, people that are doing projects that want to look a certain way. I don't think that I can make this sound come through, so I'm not going to play that whole thing. But I just want to show you some things that you can explore, on your, on your own. Okay. And let me just double check the questions, because I do see a few up here. Okay. Charlotte has asked, do you want us to put information about our businesses yet onto the Co-Thrive members section? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just answer that. We're a little out of topic, but she asked and I didn't see it. If you can add it here to your bio that's on Co-Thrive, there is a members section where I think that would be actually ideal. If you could double check and make sure you're not showing up with like an egghead kind of feature. Sometimes that happens when it's not connected to your, your Facebook account. If you've got Facebook, it'll just automatically pull in that image, but you as the user can override these settings. So all you need to do is just go in there and edit your profile, and you can change that up. So when people click on you as a member, they can find out, whatever you choose to share with them, your business link and that kind of thing. So it's kind of like a membership directory. So I think that would be the good idea. And then Michelle has asked, I thought that the center would be a website versus blog. Can you elaborate? Michelle, when you say center, do you mean this image here? You might have missed it, but I just said blog and website in my mind are almost synonymous at this point, because I see very few people that start websites without blogging, though not all do. I didn't create this graphic, I repinned it, so ideally I would have probably put, website/blog, but same functionality that I'm talking about, having that at the center. So in my mind, yes, they kind of both would refer to the same thing. So I hope that answers your question. Please let me know if that didn't. Lisa says, it's interesting to see all these opportunities. WordPress seems to have led the way, and now more creative platforms are available to appeal to the vast array of ways people approach things in life. For example, visual, creative, analytical, simplistic, holistic. Yeah, I would agree. And, I don't want to be too hard on WordPress, but, I mean, just in the last 24 hours, I have had to, fix something on WordPress that was beyond what I could do. And, I mean, I'm going to just show you the good, the bad, the ugly. I have a go-to person that helps me when it involves a code issue, when I just, can't do, I've taken my stuff as far as I could go. My client sent me, an email in a panic that said, this is not working. What happened? It's broken. And we were using a plugin called Slide Deck. All of a sudden, Slide Deck, which was working beautifully, cannot find the source for any of their Pinterest content. So it's kind of like a slider that actually is built off of Pinterest. So, oh boy, I just thought of another client that I use the same plugin. this was fueling their entire site. So if that's not working, you know, we kind of built the whole architecture on this one thing. Now all of a sudden it's broken. You know, it's not working. So basically, you have to wait until this developer of that content slider fixes it, or go to a plan B. You know, so a lot of people that aren't coders or that don't know how to go find widgets or, you know, plugins, they just don't want to deal with that. And if you can excuse my checking this out, I want to find out if this other client site is in trouble. So with WordPress, you kind of have to be in your site somewhat frequently, looking at updates, seeing how things are, you know, tying together. Because it's all open source, basically, all of the pieces have to play together and interact. So when you update, you know, one version of something, it might not work any longer with other pieces. Okay, so this is kind of a hair on fire thing I'm going to have to deal with, and again, might not happen if it was built on Weebly or WordPress. These things were working gorgeously. Just I think last week I showed Deb Landry, who's on the call, another artist who said, you know, I don't want to deal with uploading my pieces to my website. It changes frequently. So I just said, great, can you put it on Etsy? So she would just have to pin it to Etsy, or excuse me, put it on Etsy. She could make a Pinterest pin from that, put it to the right board, and then this board would pull in from Pinterest. So it was like gorgeous architecture. I thought the idea was so smart, and when it was working, it was very elegant. But now I have to, unfortunately, call this client and say, you know, we need to overhaul it or do something. So that's, you know, that's my experience of WordPress this week. So I'm not a completely happy camper. It's you definitely can help yourself out by, you know, choosing maybe just choosing themes that are, you know, more not in beta testing, or not version 1 or 2, things that are a little bit more road tested. But I did want to show you another one called Google Sites. Tracy Trout, who was on the call a few weeks ago, she showed us her site, and I kind of forget about Google Sites. This is different than Blogger.com, which is their blogging software. This is, you know, actually a site that you can create, you know, through Google. And so when you click create, I had done a few tests, but I hadn't ever really created one before. You get, you know, a few examples of themes. I mean, first impression was this sure doesn't look as gorgeous as, you know, Wix or Weebly. They look, you know, a little bit more formulaic, or just a little more, you know, standard. They're, you know, they're okay, but just not quite as innovative in my humble opinion. So the cool thing, though, is that they do have a number of different types of sites. Like, one thing I got excited by was a wiki, you know, and I think my dad sent me a little message about a word that sounded like wiki. He thought that was a funny word, but like Wikipedia, you know, it's basically many people being able to edit content and share, which, you know, I thought would be kind of cool. So I did start a wiki using Google Sites, and I quickly became a little less enamored with it, frankly. It was not all that intuitive. Once again, you know, you've seen Kathy time and again look at the image use for position only, and, you know, fairly quickly be able to get in there and update it. I thought I had done the updating, and yet when I look at the site, it still shows, you know, the other graphic before mine pops in. So, you know, maybe I'm a dingbat, maybe I haven't done it right, but it has definitely not felt as, you know, easy to do. Let's put it that way. So, let's see. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So back to this. But I love the idea of a wiki, and I will continue to develop that. It just potentially is not going to be developed on this particular one. Okay. Sorry, guys. I have Ringer. I'm supposed to have Ringer muted. You know what? I'm just going to have to tell this person I'm on a call. Excuse me. Kristen, I'm in the middle of a webinar. Can I call you back after this? Thanks. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, so could the wiki be linked to a website? Yes. Again, I mean, this is kind of a question that I think keeps coming up is, can I do this and can it be linked to this? You know, we've discussed the idea of hyperlinking pieces quite a few times, and, you know, so anything you want to link to anywhere can always be included. You know, you can either put it as a menu item and link it, or you could do it as just kind of a blog roll. It's a little hard to explain if you haven't quite mastered that idea, but let me see here. Of course, I can't think of a great example right this minute. Okay, so Charlotte, you're thinking about the farm internship modules. Sure. Okay, Charlotte, can you give me the name of Terry's site once again? And I'll just show you how she's already kind of doing that. I mean, this happens all the time, and we have talked about it, but I think it might bear repeating if it's not sinking in. You know, once something has its own URL, which depending on who you talk to stands for Universal Resource Locator or Uniform Resource Locator, it basically means that you can hyperlink it, you know, so you can link it to anything that you want. This is a project, this is a partner that I worked with along with Charlotte. Charlotte, do you recall where the where is the intern thing here? Beginner farmer. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So beginner farmer, this is something you absolutely could link to right now. This piece of content, we did a Prezi for them. We did a webinar and talked about this sustainable farming workshop. They had gotten a SARE grant. I think that stands for what? Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education, something like that. They got a SARE grant to produce education for beginning farmers to kind of help new farmers get up to speed quickly, and to also help farm interns that the farmers were able to recruit, you know, to get some assistance with labor. You know, as farms, you can imagine, can be quite you know, labor intensive. So it was dual purpose that they were going to teach the beginner farmers and, you know, eventually hope to get more people into the farming business, and also spend less of their own time teaching the basics, okay? So this piece of content does not really reside on your site. We didn't upload the raw video. This piece of content resides on Prezi, okay? So instead of this being Prezi, this could be wiki. You know, this could be a screenshot of your wiki, and it could link there, or it could just, you know, one word could say, click here for our wiki. You know, anything can be hyperlinked to anything, is my point. You know, we've kind of gone through that a lot of different times on various modules, but anyway, so like click here to register. Whenever you see a hyperlink, this could either be going to another internal page within the website, or it could be going to like Eventbrite, something like that. Okay, Charlotte's saying go down for modules, okay. Yeah, and these are, okay, so this is just, these are, I don't want to say just, these are PDFs, so these are actually, you know, hosted on your site, I believe. These are uploaded. You can see WP content uploads. So this means this is a WordPress site. This content is being hosted on this site. So there are different ways that you can store or interact with other information that's online, okay? This one is, in fact, all right here. That kind of takes some piece of your own bandwidth, you know. I mean, these PowerPoints aren't particularly huge, but if you were going to host an entire photo gallery and have all of the images resident on your site, for instance, versus, you know, linking to a Flickr gallery or linking to, you know, a gallery that's created elsewhere, there are advantages or considerations, you know, for each. But, you know, I just want you to know the art of the possible, that you can, you know, link to content that's not resident on your site. That's why I was using the Prezi example rather than the PDF example. I hope you guys are getting that. I kind of feel like maybe I'm not doing a great example or great explanation. Charlotte's saying that she'd like hers to be a YouTube channel. That's great. I mean, Kathy did a demo on that, I believe, each of the past 2 days, if I'm not mistaken. So you might want to review, you know, one of the previous days' talks, and you can see how she used, you know, an application to be embedded into the site, and you can just simply pull in your YouTube, your YouTube content. Again, like if it's YouTube content that you wish to protect or make private, right? Okay, back up. YouTube isn't really necessarily the best place to store private content because it's owned by Google. The whole idea is to get eyeballs and to get sharing going on. If you wanted to host video that was like members only and you wanted people to pay for or keep it password protected, then it might make more sense to host it on your site or to host it with a third party. Vimeo.com is one place that makes it a little bit easier to password protect video content. Anyway, I don't want to get off on video content, but I'm just trying to show you that you can link to anything. I guess I've said that probably 4 or 5 different ways, and maybe we have to have a whole big workshop just on that. Okay, so I've talked about TypePad, Blogger, Yola. There was one other one Kathy brought up the other day that I wasn't, or no, you brought up blog.com, which I had not heard of, but I found another one called web.com. I hadn't really heard of that one either. This, in one comparison that I found from somebody else, it ranked them, I think 3rd after Wix and Weebly, or in the top 4. Maybe it was after WordPress as well. And it looked okay. Again, I didn't see anything really super compelling about it that would make me choose this instead of either Wix or Weebly or WordPress if you really wanted to do it yourself. E-commerce, I didn't really go down the rabbit hole with e-commerce to see what the offerings were there. If you're doing e-commerce, I would say you might really want to align yourself with a specialty firm that has a lot of experience in that. You will probably pay a premium, but if you're able to pay your web host to do your e-commerce, how do I want to say, like when you sell online, okay, when I sell online, I use PayPal. If I sell using PayPal and I'm selling an event on Eventbrite, then I pay a portion to PayPal, I pay a portion to Eventbrite before I ever, collect the rest of my money, okay? So everybody's taking out a piece. If you do a critical amount of sales volume, there will come a point where paying, maybe $30 a month or more for an e-commerce site where basically that processing charge gets rolled into your hosting would make a whole lot of sense. I'm really not at that place yet. It hasn't been the focus of my business, but just kind of do the math. Check out what you do if you're doing sales all the time, and the whole point of your website is to sell online. Then that becomes a much bigger thing to take a look at. I don't have proof of this, but I have seen a couple people mention in articles about free sites that sometimes the free sites will let you put in affiliate links, but they might strip your links out and like take the affiliate income for themselves. I heard that used to happen on Pinterest as well. I don't know if that's still happening, but basically, I mean, they've got to make money somehow. I don't know who specifically might be doing that or not doing that, but if affiliate marketing is a big thing that you want to do, then again, that might be an example where you want to pay for your site so you get to control the linking and all of that. So just, do some due diligence. There are a lot of things that look cool. I just want to make sure that, we're also giving you the critical thinking so that you can, judge if it's a good fit for yourself. Okay, so we're almost out of time for today. Are there any other things? Yeah, tomorrow we're going to, I think, be able to finally get into WordPress. I am going to just quickly also go through the site that I've chosen to build CoThrive on, because a couple people have been a little bit interested in that. This I would not recommend for everybody, but it's great if you want to build a community. So I'll talk a little bit about this too, just kind of as an example to introduce you to the site and to tell you why I chose it. So Lisa is saying that would be interesting to learn more about this, what and how to link to external sites to hold content. Sounds like it's an outsourcing thing. For example, videos, large files, documents, does that allow one to be more creative beyond what a basic website has to offer? Not sure I'm clear. Okay. Yeah, so I think we do need to kind of go through that, and I think maybe maybe we'll have a blog building, hands-on workshop. That might be a good idea, just to kind of see what are people doing. I have a feeling there are going to be different needs, different platforms, but if we can all, if we can get a critical mass of people who want to work on that type of thing, we could either designate some office hours to do it, or just stop by during office hours and we could work that out. Okay. So Michelle, whenever I have office hours posted, feel free to drop in and I will be there. So we'll just have to work with whoever else might show up. But I do have office hours a little bit later today. I'm not sure the email is working as well as it should for some reason. Let me just quick bring up my Google Calendar. Okay, does anybody else have any more sites that they personally use, or that they like, or that they would like reviewed? Okay, office hours are today 3:30 to 5 and 9:30 to 11 on Friday. So again, members, you should have gotten that through the Facebook page. I put out the link for that. So that is a members only time. That's the benefit that you get at the $30 a month or more. That's where you can bring anything and all that you need to work on. How do I do this? How do I do a link? Anything specific. How do I export from this to that? I will give it my best shot. I may not know how to do it 100% of the time, but if I don't, I will do my best to find you an answer. Okay, so thank you. We are just about at the end of the time, so I think I'm going to go ahead and close up for now. We'll be back tomorrow talking about Nation Builder just for a quick little time in case anybody does want a membership site, and then we'll be looking at WordPress for the rest of the time. I don't want to sour you too much on WordPress. It really can be quite a valuable option. Keeping it simple, not using too many plugins, definitely a good thing. But right now I've got to go tell a client that their site is broken and it's WordPress. So not currently really happy about that. Okay, thanks. See you tomorrow.